there, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Tech Condo. My name is Petra. Really great of you to be here live and direct on this Saturday evening in Europe. Great of you to be here. And if you want to support this show, then I cannot say anything but please subscribe and watch the videos. I'm really getting close. 879 subscribers. That was earlier today. It's already more than that. And about 90% already of the watch hours done. And what I get is a nice community tab, which is fantastic. I see a lot of people are joining, and of course we're going to talk about that. Let me make sure that I have the right screen in front of me because it's going very fast today. I see Steve is in the house. Really great of you to be here all the way from Beverly Hills, California. Really appreciate that. Also, a warm welcome to my dad, who is also here. He is also moderating. He's trying it out. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, Dad, for trying to help out there. And yes, that is myself. But yeah, feel free to ask questions about the web presenter. Any question about the web presenter will do quite nicely. And of course, you can also ask any other questions, Q&A at a later stage. I want to focus today on the web presenter first, and then move on to other questions, if that's okay with you guys. I do see that John is in the house from Sweden. Yeah, that's it. John from Sweden. Really appreciate that being there. And also, we're in Scandinavia, so let's go ahead and go to Finland. Welcome, Vil. Also very cool of you to be here. We're staying a little bit in the European side of things because also MT is also all the way from Germany here, which is cool. And Ryan is also in the house. Really cool of you to be here. Ryan, I don't know up front where you're coming from, so let me know in the comments below where you are coming from. So I see On TV channel is also in the house. Really cool of you to be here, and all the way from, I think it was trying to remember that, guys. Poland or India, one of the two. What's up? Cool of you to be there. Really appreciate that. And Gabrielle is all the way from Romania. Cool. Thank you very much for being here. Get that microphone out of the way. Yeah, it was indeed Sweden. I don't know why I was blanked on that, John. Sorry for that. On TV channel says, luckily it never bought the other, so we'll getting the new 4K. Okay, so this is about the web presenter. Let's talk about that very shortly. I did see a question from John, so we'll be talking about that definitely. And Steve says, looking forward for great stuff today. Appreciate it. Cool. Well, let me see if I have everybody now lined up. I think so. Yep, I think that I have everybody. Cool. All right. Cool. Let's talk about it. So the elephant in the house is right there. It's the web presenter HD model. I did purchase it not so long ago. I think it's about a month ago now, and I have been using it for 2 weeks in a row, and it's been very, very stable. I love it, but I love it for a few reasons, and I'm going to talk about that today. Also, I wanted to also very briefly talk about one more thing, and that is that another thing that a lot of people will probably say something about is that why are you investing in a web presenter if you already have an 8 mini with a built-in streaming encoder? Well, I made I think a very thorough video earlier this week, so I really would tell you to watch that. But let's just say that what I think about it is that there's room for both. But it all depends on your use case. And my use case, I definitely would like to have this one, not only because of having a separate encoder is really interesting for me from a perspective of internet security, because I want to have everything in my own bubble, and I also want to be able to see what's going on. Believe it or not, I am looking at you via a camera, but on the right-hand side, right below, I actually can see that I have audio. And I can actually see that I would typically, not today because it's offline, I can actually see that it's actually also streaming. Now, I have been using this for Facebook, but I'm thinking of using it for YouTube in the future because I really think it's doing a great job at that. So that's a little bit of my use case. But let me start with the first question, because why not? Where is it? John asked me that. Looking. Okay, there he goes. So, any plans to now already upgrade to the 4K model, asks John. And actually, I did already tell something about that in the video that I did last, I believe it was Wednesday or Thursday or something like that. The answer to that question is, it doesn't make sense for me to invest in the 4K model yet from the perspective of having it right now. Let me explain. First and foremost, if I look at my internet speed in my studio, let's do that, because that is, I think it's really interesting to note. So if you go to speedtest.net, okay, let me go ahead and show you my screen. There you go. A lot of blah blah there. But if I click on speedtest.net and I let it do its thing, it's of course Saturday evening. This is my upload speed, which is very, very nice. I think that this is something that I can be very happy about. But if I would go to my upload speed, and the upload speed is very important for streaming, then things go a little bit differently. Typically, as you can see, it's roughly around 36, about 36, 40, 35, that area. That's where it's going to stick around. And there you go. So 36.66, that is what we're talking about. Now, a bit of an inside thing is that if you look on the screen of the web presenter, let me go there. Whoop, there we go. Then you can see that it's roughly around 9, 10-ish, and that is because it's HD. If I would have a 4K signal, it will be running around 30, and 30 with only 36 of bandwidth is quite limited. And I actually want to stream to multiple places at once. Granted, I can use a restream.io for that, but to be honest, it's quite a thing, right? So that is the reason why I think that I want to make sure that it's HD only at the moment. And maybe if I want to have a second one, I don't have a use case for it at the moment, but if I would like to have a second one, I will definitely purchase the 4K model to be future-proof. But for now, for where I am at the moment, and I have one of the best internet here in this area. Not the best, but it's quite all right. And it's going to be quite a trick to get something else in that area. So that is the reason. I hope that was helpful for your question right there. So that is the reason. I'm checking if I have everything checked out. All right. So I will be checking. I will talk about other questions as well, but then at least you know why I'm actually very happy with my HD model. But I will be talking about the HD and 4K model a little bit. Again, I'm also, I just wanted to point out again, there's another video, but it didn't really go into the product itself. And so I wanted today to show it around a little bit. I want to go through the menu structure together with you. I want to go to the full-on application with you, etc. Yes, I wanted to make a separate video of that, but in hindsight, I thought this makes perfect sense to wrap it up and have a nice Q&A with that as well, so that we are all aligned on it, and I can go to a next thing that I'm working on, which is really, really cool. And unfortunately, that didn't pop up, but there you go. It will come in a few seconds, and then you will know what it is right about now. Anyway, so right, let's go. The Hyperdeck. The Hyperdeck is coming. That's what I'm saying there. So the Web Presenter HD. The Web Presenter HD is a very nice small system. It's really, well, it's very, very small, as you can see right there. But I have a better look at it right here. So this is basically what it is. Let me press on the. Let me make sure that it's all nicely. There you go. So that's what it looks like. It is a very small setup. It actually has only 6 buttons on and let's say a jog. Let me make sure it's nicely focused. So let's go ahead and watch this first. So here we've got the on air button. If I would press this button, it will go automatically on air. Now I didn't put in any stream key in it today, so it's not going to work. However, that is the button right there on air to make that happen. If you are ready and you're done with your stream, then you just click on the off button and then it will automatically shut off your stream, and that is very helpful. Now there is also a call button right here, and that one does not do anything as of yet. Blackmagic typically does do this more often. I'm looking at you, stinger button on the A10 Mini. I'm also looking at you, looking at one of the older cameras where Blackmagic has provided a button that never went into fruition. So that's a bit of a bummer right there. But maybe the call button will enable you to call the maybe thinking of it, and this is really me thinking out loud, calling this maybe the ATEM streaming bridge. That makes a little bit of a sense to me. So maybe that is what it's for. Next to that, we have the lock button. If I would press this and hold it for a couple of seconds, then I can press anything else, but it doesn't work. It will just be locked. Pressing it again for a few seconds will release the lock, and I then can use it. Now this jog shuttle right here is now currently not working, but once I hit the menu bar right here, it starts to work. Let me switch on the light here. So it's a little bit of a bummer that it's very light, so unfortunately. But let me try to. This is all I can get it at the moment, unfortunately. So this is the live streaming option, and if I would go to the right, you have a setup menu item as well. So live stream and setup, those are the two menus that you have right here. Again, sorry for the awkward lines, but it's just the way I cannot get that out of there. Sorry. And then once I want to change something, I just hit the menu item right here. Oh, sorry, the set button right here. And then set it again, and then I can change it to whatever I want. So for the video output, I can select what it wants. So if I'm in an area that I don't have a lot of bandwidth, I can actually have it not go at HD but at 720. What I forgot to mention is that the system can handle up to 4K. So I can bring in a 4K signal, an HD signal, or a 720 signal. It will use all of those signals. It can use all of them without any problems because it actually has a cross converter built in, which is really, really cool. Now, and I can here set what I wanted to stream with. So is it 720 or maybe 1080? And if I would have a 4K, web presenter, it will also have the 4K options right there. Now in this case I don't have that, but these are the options that I have right here. So but I'll keep it to the one that I had before, so I'm not going to change that. It's just auto mode. Then I'm going to go to menu again, and I can go down, and this is where I can set the platform. So also here I can click on set and can change Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, and a lot of other things as well. Now, these are the platforms that are built in. You can add your own platform, or you can add an additional YouTube channel, for example. And here to record, John had a fantastic URL where you can use that, and then you don't have to fill it in by yourself, which is and create a nice XML file for it. I didn't explain that correctly, but I'll do that at a later stage today. Now let's go down. So this is where you can add your server, your streaming key, and your quality. Now the quality, unlike with your ATEM, you can actually change the quality during a stream. And that can be handy if, for example, you can start with high, but your network is congested and you want to at least stream. So then you can just go down to, for example, a medium and use that. So that is possible right there. You press set, and that is and then that is then the new item. And I think that this, and then of course you can go live here like so. Now that's this one right here. So if I go to setup, this is quite a limited possibility here, to be honest, because if I go down to this, as you can set, I cannot change the name here. I am able to change the language. So there are multiple languages available. Let me just show you. So a lot of Chinese, Japanese, that kind of stuff. So Polish, and a lot of different options there. And if I go down, I can also go into the network and set it to DHCP or to manual. And in this case, I have added to DHCP, so I am getting my IP address automatically. So those are the features that you have on the device itself, and that can be very handy, although you still need to have the Web Presenter application right there. John, are you able to send out that URL or not? Then otherwise I will try to figure it out quickly. Because that's very handy. He created a nice XML generator. I have it in front of me. So I'll just copy this and put it into my, there you go. I don't know if he's still there. So here you got an XML tool that John made, and it actually allows me, and then let me just go in and show you what it looks like. There you go. So this is what John made. Here you can just give it a platform name, for example, Taekwondo, in my opinion, and a stream URL. Now that can be a YouTube URL. Oh, Taekwondo. A stream URL. So let's go ahead and fetch that. Don't know if I can get that here. Let me check that quickly. Streaming settings. Yes, I can. Copy. Go ahead. There you go. And then I'm going to go back to my screen. And then it says high, medium, and low. And these are the standard options that you'll get with the streaming software. You can change it. I do think that this is for me okay. But if I would like to have, for example, the high being 12 megabits per second, which would be possible for me, I can do that. And then I can just hit download XML file, which I just did. And we will need that later during this short demo. So that is here to record /XML. I did put it into the chat just now. All right, before I forget, I go further, let me verify if you guys have any questions or that you want me to look a little bit further at the front of the device. Let me see. And in the meantime, I will also say hello to some people that are just arriving. All right. Boop, 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 boop. Okay, so I see that Gerard is in the house. Welcome all the way from Germany. So looking forward to the overview, says on TV channel. Yep, so it's a little bit of a free format today, but I do like the interaction, and I hope that is also what you guys would like. I see Isaac all the way from Ghana. Cool of you to be here. Gerard says that he was able to buy the new Web Presenter HD original price for €320 on eBay. So that's definitely a great price, Gerard. here, and MT says, I bought it regularly, and then the 4K came out a month later. Yeah. But again, the HD is big enough for my use case, but also my use case, to be honest. So it's not only MT's, but also I cannot even handle 30 plus megabits per second at the moment. So at the moment, doesn't make sense to me. Would love the speed in Australia. I know, Ryan. Okay, gotcha. So Ryan, you're from Australia. Yeah, mate. I know that that the internet is not great there. I do have some friends there in Adelaide and in let me think, Gold Coast, Brisbane, and Sydney. So a few of them are across the east side of Australia. So yeah, so I know, and I know that they have some issues with the speed, but it's cool that at least you could use it for 720. The beauty of having this product, which is that if you are producing a show in either 4K or HD, but you don't have the bandwidth to stream it in HD, then at least you can stream it at 720 and still keep the recording in HD or in 4K. If you have an 8 mini, then of course you cannot go higher than 1080. But at least once you if you set your ISO recording to 1080, then at least that is the case. If you would have to change that in the system itself, in the ATEM itself, then guess what? Your quality of your ISO recording will also go down. So it's correlated with each other, and with a separate system that's totally not correlated with each other anymore. So you can have an independent way of getting the correct quality setting, so to speak. WhatsApp says not symmetrical, but download and upload. Yep, gotcha. That's the thing is that if you have fiber, then that is definitely almost always is symmetrical. But I have a coax connection here, right here, and it's definitely not. So, and most of the Netherlands, and especially in the area that I live in, is still coax, even though, believe it or not, the rural areas are actually fiber and the city is not. It doesn't make sense, doesn't compute, but it is the case. MT says, I used my old one to convert HDMI to SDI and recording with my old Hyperdeck. The HD Plus is on its way. My HD Plus is also on its way, and I cannot wait to talk about it. I am really looking forward to it. The thing with Hyperdeck is a different tool, but just to let you know, guys, I did purchase the Hyperdeck, the old Hyperdeck Mini, a couple of months ago, like 5-6 months ago. It never came in, and then this happened, and I said to that retailer, I said, can we just change it? And they said, yes, of course, it's the same price. Let's go. And it's on its way. It will arrive Monday or Tuesday. And I will be going live with an unboxing as quickly as I can. And I will also, well, maybe not going live. I think that will be a video, to be honest, just to keep it short and sweet. And then I will also make a separate video on the whole product, etc. First, from a product perspective only. So the hardware, the menu structure, and then at the later stage, I will also, of course, integrate it with my ATEM and talk about that. So I'm really looking forward to that. Now I'm really stepping up my game. On TV channel says it's the only reason for using the web presenter as opposed to the built-in option within the extreme ISO is security. No. So no, it's not only security. For me, it's really security was one of the major ones for me, to be honest. That was actually the one that actually got me started. And then once I became more aware of it, then I like this screen, and we will be talking about the screen in more detail in a minute. I like it very much because it's also very much in my face. I know that I feel confident that my output is okay. That is great. And then an additional option is that it's also cross-converting for me as well. So I can actually state I want to have it in P50 if I would like to, or P60 or P30 or P20 or whatever, I-25 I mean. So I can state what I want it to be, and I can downscale it. So if I have a 4K camera and I want to stream directly HD, I can do that with that product. So it gives me a lot of flexibility. Above that, it also gives me additional security. Then that's the bandwidth security, because I can actually put my phone on this cable right here, and then it becomes a backup plan. So if my internet connection goes away, at least my phone will take over. And believe it or not, it doesn't have to be phone. It can also be just one of these dongles, these with a 4G modem inside of it. So that is also definitely possible as well. And I will definitely be using it with that combination as well, just to make sure that I always have a just connection. And also if my internet breaks, I can still have my show with you together. That's one of my major things that I would like to have here. The live view solo is a video bombing. Yeah, I mean, that's true. And I actually do own the live view solo. I'm actually using the live view solo as well, especially in my mobile setup. But I also even use the live view LU300s. So I also have the more professional models as well. But I think that you're right. Looking at bonding definitely makes sense to go with that route. But for here in my studio, this is really a fantastic option. Can you use the Web Presenter HD with Video Go where the internet is very slow? Yes, you can. Because the Video Go, you can add 4G modems, right? So yes, you can use that indeed in combination. You do not have to add your phone for that. That's what they show you in the presentation, but you just can, like I just a few seconds ago said, you can also use dongles with it. So yes, you can also use your Video Go for it. That's totally fine as long as it's data. That's the most important thing. MT says, I think it's easier and more cost effective to have a regular 6-button layout and use the cover you already have. So a dead button isn't that bad at all. What are you talking about? I'm considering what you're talking about. Sorry, MT. Maybe I'm. Help me to understand what you're saying. Ryan, thanks for the app. John, it's totally there, and it was a fun one to build indeed. I just added that as well. MT says very helpful. I think that's so that's John. There you have it. We're very happy with you that you took that time to do that, and that's definitely great. Steve says, looked at it yesterday, here to record, John. It's cool. Yeah, definitely. Well, a little bit more of John. Here you go, John. Then you know that everybody loves what you do. Here you got Quick Tech also saying that, John. And hey, it's pleasure to make it as usual. I make it because I really need it. Yeah. Well, but that's, I think, the reason why you do it, right? So for the first time in a long time, I actually have a use case for writing some Python code for this stream as well. As you might have noticed, I have already 880 plus subscribers. Once I reach 1,000 subscribers, I can get that community tab, and I want to be prepared if other things are opened up as well, like for example, super chats, for example, and I want to thank you at the during the show and that kind of stuff. And I think that I need to make some coding for that. So doing that maybe I'm just wanting to jump towards HDR graphics, but I do want to keep my look and feel. So that's for me important. All right. A quick hint to John about that. OTV channel says a great video. Ryan Summerfield on your SE. Oh, says, are you Rick? Watch it today. Okay, Ryan, I will watch that as well. Cool. I have not seen it. Maybe I did see it. Huh. Maybe I did see it, but it doesn't ring the bell at the moment. Awesome. Ryan, I will check if I have seen your video. Did I have everything? Okay, Steve, a little different use case, looking to use my web presenter 4K as a client monitor on a 75-inch TV, thinking it will keep them busy, entertained too. Yes, that's definitely the case, Steve. I think that you're right. I think that if you show this, that really looks like you're in control, right? You're monitoring, you know exactly what you're doing, you can see a lot of different bells and whistles going on. This is like a dashboard. I think I actually used it, the term dashboard in the video the other day. It is really something that I like as well as a data analyst, data engineer. That's my day-to-day job, so I love this kind of stuff. I thought we were late here in the Philippines compared to the rest of the world in terms of internet, but currently we have fiber connection. I'm not jealous. I am not jealous. I'm so jealous. No, I'm not, but that's cool. How much is it? $50 a month? Oh, I want to live in the Philippines now. Wow. Oh, it was about the call button on the web presenter. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, indeed. I think we can figure out the look and feel challenge. Nice. He got the hint. That's awesome. Ryan says, thank you on TV channel, going live, talking about it very soon. Okay, Ryan, I think that I've seen it, but I'm not sure about it anymore. Let me, how can I see that? Oh no, it was on a different, it was on my personal account. Cannot see it at the moment. Okay, cool, but I will check that. We'll definitely check it. On TV channel says you'll soon reach 1,000, Petra. I really hope so. Again, it's not about 1,000. I don't care about the number 1,000, even though, hey, it does sound really nice. It's really about, for me, for the community. I want to. One thing that I don't like about streaming on YouTube or working on YouTube is that they put the goal very high to 1,000 before things are opened up. And then even to 10,000 if you really want to open up a lot of things. And that's a bit of a bummer. I do understand why they do it, because of a lot of administration and that kind of stuff. I do understand that. But on the other hand, it's quite difficult for us small channels to reach that goal. But hey, we're getting there. It does take time, but that's okay. Well, it's not about the speed, it's about the quality, right? That's what I always say. All right. That was that. So no questions about the front of the device. That is cool. I did have a small video about the back of the device that I created earlier today. So I'll just go ahead and play that, and I will talk about it. So there you go. So it has not only one, but two connections for power, so also 12 volts is possible as well. Ethernet, of course, for streaming. It is a streaming encoder, which is totally great, and love that is possible. This is a webcam out, but also it can be used for connecting your phone or your data plan. And this is the monitor that you see behind me, both in HDMI and SDI, and this is the SDI in, so it does not have an HDMI in, it does have an SDI out right there. So that is what I wanted to show you there, and this is the way that you connect it. So this is exactly what I have behind me, so just an SDI connector. Then I'm also adding the HDMI connector at the moment right here. The internet connection, I did forget to add the white cable, the phone cable, but this is how I have added them right there. What I like about this location is that, again, I can see exactly what is going on, and I really, really like that. By the way, if you are thinking of how Petra did you create this graph right here, actually this is not really 100% what you see on that screen. Actually, you can see that. So I am doing a little bit of sneaking around a little bit, because otherwise I will get a tunneling effect. So I'll just show it what I mean by that by declicking this one right here. So otherwise I would get this, and that's quite an annoyance. So just a short FYI that I am a little bit faking it, just in case. Steve says, maybe we should take one apart and see if the call button can be used for something. Maybe, Steve, if you want to purchase one, then go ahead and open it up. I might be tempted to open it up, but not at the moment, because I still of course have some warranty, and unfortunately I cannot just buy a new one if something happens to it. So yeah, I understand what you're saying. I do think, because they made a very they really mentioned it during their stream, their introduction, that it is possible. So I do think that it will be possible to use it for something. And I still think that this might be the reason why they use it. By the way, you can stream to this directly. It doesn't have to be that way. Okay, so Ryan says, let's all not forget to smash the like button for Petra. Oh, Ryan, you're so sweet. Thank you so much. Yeah, indeed. So anything, comments help a lot. Likes help a lot. And if you don't like it, then just hit the dislike button twice, and we're all good. Then we have, then of course, watching it as much as you can. But yes, I showed you just now, you guys are awesome, because you're actually also watching the video. So what I like about my community, it's not that big maybe, but at least you guys are watching the videos, and that's really cool. So awesome. Kudos for that. Really appreciate that. And again, thank you, Ryan, for pointing that out to the people. Steve says, it's my understanding that the USB output is a 4K webcam also. Ooh, I didn't check that. That's new for me. That's new information. Interesting. That would be cool if that is the case. Quick Test says, Petra, can the new Hyperdeck be powered via PoE? No. Doesn't say anything in the specs, and the port isn't labeled like on a Hyperdeck Mini. So I don't think so, to be honest. The web presenter also is not PoE. So I don't think that they can do that. I don't know why. I do believe maybe because of all the additional features that they have built in, that it becomes too much for PoE, but I don't think that that's something that they have. This one does have the 12 volt possibility as well, so you don't have to necessarily have 2020. Also, one thing what I do understand from a perspective of Blackmagic, and I'm thinking if I have an example, I don't, but they don't come with power cables. So the power cables you do need to purchase yourself separately. I know why they do that, because typically it's built into 19-inch racks, and you don't want to have these longer cables if that is the case. So I believe that because of a lot of people would be throwing away or not using the cables that came with the device. They just said we're not going to deliver them at all. But no, yeah, there's no PoE. I'm pretty sure of that. How do I connect the Extreme Mini to the web presenter? Very good question. With a micro converter, I don't have one with me handy at the moment. However, I do have a picture on my phone that I can use to show. Not that one, not that one. There it is. Okay. So let me show you what it looks like. So what you need is this, a microconverter HDMI to SDI. So on the right hand side, that's that red cable, that HDMI cable, that is coming from the A10 Mini, and the SDI out, that goes to the web presenter. So that's the way that you can connect that to each other. And these microconverters are shockingly inexpensive. So they're like $50 or so. So they're really inexpensive and therefore quite nice. But indeed, you do need to have two cables. You do need to have an SDI cable, and you do need to have an HDMI cable and that converter as well. Okay. All right. Like the comments, guys. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Okay, let's talk about the application that we get with it. So let's go here. So here you got the application that you need to install to really use the web presenter setup. What I like about this is that I actually didn't have to add anything here, not even an IP address. It will find the system by itself, as long as, of course, it's in your network. And as you can see, I actually rebranded it to Taekwondo Web Presenter HD. Why not? I mean, that's the name of this channel. So if I click on this button right here, it will automatically go into the live streaming mode. This is really the most important one. But let's go ahead and go into setup. So if I go into setup, here is where you can change the name. So Taekwondo Web Presenter HD, or I can actually maybe even put in 4K if I would like to do right there. I'm not doing that, of course, because that's not true. You can set the language here, and here you got all these kind of Chinese and Korean. I don't know. My Chinese is very bad. Then you got Espanol, Spanish, of course, German, Deutsch, French, Français. I think that this, I don't know. Italiano, come está? Portuguese, and Turkish. So you have got a lot of languages at your disposal. I am running software version 2.1.1, which is the newest version. And here you've got a lot of meters that you can use. I like this the default, so I'm just keeping the default, but you can just change that and then just hit save if you'd like to. That's all fine. And here you've got DHCP. Because I'm in my own environment, DHCP makes perfect sense. But if I would use this in my remote setup, then maybe I would add static IP. However, now that I'm saying that, I most likely will have DHCP, because if I'm going to a different venue, then DHCP makes perfect sense as a starting point. Here you've got a very important one, that's connection priority. And this is where you state what takes priority. Is it Ethernet? Is it your Ethernet connection or the Ethernet cable that is put into the web presenter, or is it the mobile setup? One of the two is the priority. So if I would press on mobile, then we'll first want to connect with my phone or with the 4G modem. And if that doesn't give enough power or whatever, it will switch automatically to Ethernet. It does, let me go away from this one. It does stop a little bit with your video. So even though your stream will not stop, you will have a short while that there's nothing changing. So it's just stuck in time, and then it will go on like 2-3 seconds later. It's not the best thing. I mean, that's the reason why I actually want to have a live view, for example, because what the live view does in comparison with this one is that it's really bonded. So this is literally a fallback scenario. The web presenter fallbacks to another device. So it goes from the Ethernet to your mobile. But the live view, actually, if you have like 3 or 4 of these on it, then it will bond the 3 together as one signal. And if one drops, you still have the other 2 that still has your bandwidth. And above that, it will automatically decrease the bit rate once it doesn't have enough bit rate to have the same quality. Again, on the web presenter, you can change the quality when you're live, which is fantastic in my opinion. Moving on, let's go back. So that was the setup right here, and then you've got to reset here as well. That's roughly it. Then you've got the live stream, and here you can set the auto mode, the video output mode. Again, the cross converter. This is also what I've showed you on the device itself, and these are the options that I have at my disposal. So both 720 and 1080, and if I would have a 4K version, I would actually have also the 2160 versions as well. Then I have a load streaming settings button right here, and this is where I can actually go ahead and get my downloads and get my tech.xml, which I created on the website of John Barker on here to record, and then it will automatically be populated here on the last one. Now I didn't fill in the key, a stream key, but that is definitely possible right here. You've got Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, and Return.io, and from now on, TechCondo will be the one that I'm going to use once I have added it correctly. And then of course you got your server and your key and your streaming high, medium, and low. And again, on the website, I've added 12 megabits for high, and the other two are default. And here I can click on air, and then it will automatically go on air. This will remove the important settings. So if I would not like the stack condo part right here, I can actually go in and remove it here. I'm going to do that now, John. Don't take it personally. I will be using it in a different way in the future. Now it's gone, as you can see. So those are the options there, and that is what you have on the application. So let me see what you guys have been checking and what you have been doing, because I cannot see when I'm showing that screen. I cannot show. I cannot see your comments. Just an FYI there. Steve says, it's my understanding that USB output. Oh yeah, we already talked about that. MT says, I think that the Hyperdeck has a good power consumption. If I remember right, around 3 amps. Not sure if PUA could. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I really don't know. I'll verify that. I will have my Hyperdeck Plus, not the Mini, the Plus one. In a couple of, I believe I will get it on Monday, so then I'll at least it's already on its way. Let's just say it like that. So probably on Monday, so I will probably have an unboxing video on Monday evening, I hope, and then two days later or so I will have a walkthrough video available. So that's coming. So if you like that kind of content, then of course please subscribe. Let me check. I was just like Petra. I love your format. So not the usual tech delivery. No, I don't. The thing is, on TV channels, I just want to be myself. And what I do think what is important in my videos is always to show you the way that it is, right? So honestly, I love live better to give you a live demo. However, I do note that if it's longer than 20 minutes, people don't always have the investment of more than 20 minutes. So basically, that's the reason why I want to create videos for demand. But my heart goes into live streaming because that's where we really can go into a lot of different things and talk about all kinds of things that go wrong also. But I just like it. It's just the way that I like it. Steve says, just checked from Blackmagic website, webcam output, one-time USB Type-C up to 4K. Nice. Definitely going to use that one day. Yeah, 4K onto Zoom. I don't think that Zoom will allow that, to be honest, Steve, because if I'm not mistaken, Zoom still is SD or 720, and you really need to get a paid subscription. And not only that, you actually need to call the help desk and ask for 1080. That's the way it works. Not out of the box. It's not going to work out that way. MT says in terms of internet in terms of internet bonding, Alex Parrott showed a bonding solution on Raspberry Pi and a provider, 3 connections and a seamless stream, and even 2 connections failed. Yeah, it is based on a so with bonding, it's always based on a service, right? So you do have to have it is a monthly fee, even though it's running on a Raspberry Pi. You still have to have that monthly fee, and that's actually for all bonding solutions. So know that there is also a monthly fee there as well. The cock icon to remove settings was such an odd choice. I know. You're a software developer. You know that icons are really important. If I want to remove something, I want to see a trash can, or I want to see like one line that is red and the rest is just another color or something. But something like that, not a cogwheel. It's so awkward. Come on. I totally agree with you there, John. Web Presenter will be a good add-on for the A10 Mini users. Webcam plus streaming. Depends. It really depends what you do with your A10 Mini. So if you use your A10 Mini for Zoom calls or Teams or that kind of stuff, don't buy a Web Presenter. Doesn't make sense to me at all. Even if you only do it for Zoom and Teams, don't even buy an A10 Mini Pro or Pro ISO or that kind of stuff. Just go with the classic one. It's only 300 euros or something. It's quite inexpensive, and you can still flabbergast your audience. It's really that great. If you would like to stream just 1 or 2 cameras without too much of overlays and that kind of stuff, then go ahead, just buy the A10 Mini or Pro or Extreme and do your thing. But if you really want to step up the notch and you want to go to different places and use internet of somebody that you don't know or trust, then you do need to have a separate streaming engine because of security constraints. And if you want to have a 1080 quality recording, but you can only stream 720 due to your internet congestion, then go ahead and buy that Web Presenter, because that will help you quite dramatically. Jason, welcome all the way from Canada. Appreciate you for being here live and direct. Okay, so we talked about the front. We talked about the back. We didn't talk about the side. So the side is that it does contain a fan. I like fans, but not those kind of fans, because it does make some noise. Now, in my studio, if I'm quiet, you actually will hear my computer, because my computer is actually making more noise than that fan does, because my computer is actually an older computer that is now about 6 years old, and for some reason the fans are always spinning on top level. Always. It has never worked on BIOS wise to cut it down. This computer you don't hear at all. It's a fantastic computer in that case. MT says happy Sunday to you too. Sunday? Wow. Did you have a holiday, MT? That's great. If you don't know what day it is, that's great. That sounds like you're having a great vacation there. let me think. So we did the front, the back, the side, we just talked about a little bit, but we didn't really talk about the menu structure behind me. So let's go ahead and go there. So let's go to this screen right here. So this is literally what you see behind me. A little bit different, but I just showed you what I did. And this is really what I like about it. I can see the end result, not really this time around, but I can see the end result. I can see below me right there what my cache does. So for example, if I would have a bandwidth problem, I will see something happening here. It will go down until it reaches a point that it really needs to get things out of to the internet. So if I have some congestion, this will not be 0, but be higher. So I have actually very good internet. That's what I see right here. On this side, you see a bit rate. And the bitrate is actually changing. And what I just recently figured out by watching somebody else's channel is that it actually does change if I show you something different. So what I'll do very quickly is that I will show you a blank screen and you will see a dip coming very shortly. So I will just go to my PC again, just for a few seconds, wait for it to drop a little bit. I will go back in 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, boom. Now you see that because there were not a lot of differences going on, you see that it actually was having less bandwidth. So that was something what was a little bit awkward when I saw it for the first time, because it felt like it's not stable. But this is by design. There's nothing to be worried about. But it is a little bit of an awkward thing, to be honest. So that is that. Now, let's zoom in there. And this is where you can see if you're broadcasting. So, for example, now it states off. But if I would go live, it would state on air. It will first blink on air off with red and white. Once that is to initialize, and once it is really on air, it will be solid red. And then also below that, you will see that the numbers will also change. So that is what you can see right there. Then moving on, going down a little bit, this is where you see the video input, and you see that you have like a strip, and that gives you the last 6 seconds. So if I would show my hand here, you will see that my hand will be popping up, and you will see that it will go away. And the reason why that's so important is that I now can see if everything is going well. So I can see if there are any problems. Below that, you'll see the input standard 1080p 50. That is what my vMix is set to. Yes, I'm using vMix at the moment. However, if I would have my mobile setup with me, it will be a combination of the ATEM Mini and vMix. Below that, you'll see a time code. I do not use time code within my at-home production. Might be in the future. I do have some ideas of having that now. But at the moment, it does not really make sense. It's not a priority. Then the color science is Rec 709. It does allow for also a bigger color space, 2020, for example. So Rec 709 actually is a color space that is very generic and widely used. Then the SDI auxiliary data, there is no SDI. It's actually going from HDMI to SDI. And the closed caption is not there, and SMTPE that's a CRC, so that's a check, a validation if the data is correct. Oh, sorry about that. And so it's just a validation, the CRC. And below that, you see the luminous bits, and the axis means that it's changing. If it's an L, it's a low, so that's not changing, or it can be a high. But because a lot of L, the axis and just 2 L's means that I'm sending out 8 bits of video source. So that's luminance and chroma right there. And last but not least, that is the audio. And let's go there. So there you go. And here you see, yeah, basically that I'm talking. If I would shut up, you would see that I would be very quiet for a bit. You do see that I'm sending out 48 kilohertz, and it's locked, so that's good. The word length unknown, I'm not sure what that is all about. I do know what the audio bits are all about, so you do see that once I talk a little bit louder, that it will automatically go, the lower bits will increase or decrease. And next to that, you do see the VUCP ones, and VUCP is literally for, what was it again? Checking my, yeah, so the V stands for valid, the U stands for user, the C for channel status, and the P for parity. And so in my case, the parity bit and the channel status bit are set. And that's roughly what I have in store for the audio. And then let's go back to the bigger setup. And this is what I see. And again, I like it so much. I do not really look at at those bits that I just talked about. What I do look at is the 6 seconds strip. And I do look at the audio strip. And I also look at the data and the cache strip. So let me show you. So that the audio meter is right there. That's what I look at. That one I look at, because if this one goes down, so goes up, then we have a problem. Then we really have a problem. This one I'm looking at, but not so much, because I now know how it works. The audio I'm looking at, because I want to make sure that you can hear my audio, even though I can see it right there. But what I cannot see there is that if there was a intermittent issue, I can now see that there was an intermittent issue. And then last but not least, that one can also be handy right there. All right, so moving on outside of there, and now this is again the normal setup. Let's see if you guys have some questions or that kind of stuff. MT says, you got me, it's 8 p.m, so it's nearly Sunday. That's true, MT. I totally agree with you with that. Can you connect to a streaming bridge via the web presenter? Yes, you can. It is definitely one thing that you can connect to. Did I see it as part of that connection? It's not part of the standard, but the way that it works is that if you have your streaming bridge, you can create your own, let's say, service, and then you can also export it and use it inside of that tool. So that is the way that you can do that. So yes, it does work with a streaming bridge as an end result. Yes, 100% correct. And can you connect to a streaming bridge via the web presenter HD? I think that's the same question twice. So yes, that is possible indeed. Let me think. So we did basically talk about everything that is to talk about on the web presenter, apart from that you can create, they have these nice racks within Blackmagic. They're called Teranex racks, and you can actually have 3 of these small devices side by side. So for example, my use case, there would be one that will be the web presenter. Then I do own a older, it's literally a year ago I bought it, but an older Hyperdeck Mini, and then maybe some other one next to that, because I do want to use those Hyperdecks also for demo purposes here. Because one of the things that I like about the ATEM Mini is that I can have an SDI. Sorry, let me rephrase that. So what I like about my ATEM Mini Extreme ISO is that I can have ISO recording for each channel. So I can actually also, when I record it, that's perfect. However, there's nothing to really also play it out on each channel. I also come a little bit from the audio world. So if I look in the audio world, what I like about digital mixers is that I can actually record every single channel and then also play back on every single channel so that I can do my mixing the way that I would like to do it. So a little bit of the same thing. If I want to demo something related to the ATEM Mini for you guys, I want to be able to have a very nice video available so that it makes sense to you, so that you can see what's going on and you can understand how things are going. So that was one of the reasons why I have it for my studio. But of course, those systems will also go with me if I have an event, because if I have that event, I want to have one dedicated for stingers and lower thirds, and the other one I want to use for playing out videos. But Petra, you are also using vMix, right? That is correct. However, vMix does add some delay. If you look at the screen behind me, you will see that there's quite a lot of delay. See that? That is quite a lot of delay. That is not acceptable if you have a stage and two big screens that you want to provide video on. So you want to make that as short as possible. Now with the ATEM Mini, Mini Pro, Pro ISO, Extreme, and Extreme ISO, in my case the ATEM Mini Extreme ISO, I don't have this much of delay. There is a little bit of delay, but it's like this. So it's like this is then the real one, and then this one is following it like so. So it's almost nothing, which is great. So that is enough for me, and that is great. So the way that I use that is that vMix is solely for the outside world, for the internet, where it doesn't matter if it's a few like maybe even a few seconds later, but for the in venue it needs to be perfectly in sync as much as I can get it. So that is my reason for that. Jason says, could a web presenter 4K send to streaming bridge, but if the streaming bridge is sending I need to reread that, sorry. Could a web presenter 4K send to streaming bridge? Yes, that is possible. But if the streaming bridge is sending to an ATEM Mini, will the 4K be downscaled to 1080p? That's a very good question. That's a very good question, Jason. I don't know. I don't even know if the ATEM, does the streaming bridge have a converter in there? Because if it has, it will most likely can. But let's check that out together, I would say. So what I'll do now is that I will go to Blackmagic and let's check it out together. Good question. So let's go to support and go to ATEM. No, let's do it differently. Go to product, then go to ATEM. There. I don't care which one, just this one. Then go to tech specs, then go to streaming bridge, and then does it have a converter built in? Standards. It only accepts 1080, it seems. It only accepts 1080, so you do need to send out in one of these. It will not downscale. No, it will not downscale. So that is unfortunately the answer to that question. It's not possible. Bit of a bummer there, but I think that's okay. All right. That's all that I had in store. If you have any questions that can also be related to other things, we can still make it a little bit longer if you'd like. Maybe 15 minutes more if you want. So go ahead and just ask some questions. Let's try to check it out together. And he says the streaming bridge can only receive stream, not send out the stream. Yeah. Oh, did I put it again in the? Yeah, I did. I did put it in the queue. Remove it. Yeah, it can only receive a stream, not send out a stream. That's correct. If I said that wrongly, sorry. But that is definitely correct. I'll just wait a little bit longer, and we'll just make a quick summary so that you guys can ask some questions. We did see that the front is really cool. That we did talk about that. Sorry, we did talk about that it can accept 4K cameras, HD cameras, 720 cameras. It can downscale or upscale depending on what your video output is like. So you can actually have 720 or 1080, a lot of different flavors. If you have the 4K model, you can actually add a 4K as well. We also talked about the bitrate, so that for HD you roughly need 10 megabits. For 4K you need roughly 30 megabits. What I didn't talk about is that my suggestion strongly is that if you need 30 megabits, then you should have at the very least 40 megabits at your disposal. You saw that I didn't have that, so 4K is not a good idea at the moment. Then we talked about the USB webcam, and we figured out that it also can become 4K, thanks to the community for that. We also talked about the tethering, that you can also use a modem instead of your phone if you would like that. I showed you around in the monitor and why I like it so much. I talked about the front. We talked about the call button, which we don't know what it is. We know that it's working because otherwise you would not even talk about it during a stream, I believe. So I think that we've covered about everything there. So let's see. Jason says, I wonder if the ATEM line would be updated to 4K or if the ATEM products will remain only at 1080p. That's a good comment, Jason. What I think is that it all depends on what is the intended audience. So the ATEM Mini really is aimed towards YouTube, Twitch, Facebook people, like myself, but also let's say smaller streamers. That's also the reason why they're really aimed towards HD, and not so much SDI, because SDI cameras typically are not for the consumers, so to speak. Arguably, and I know, Jason, who you are like a prosumer. I would say I'm a prosumer to even professional. So for me, the television studio makes perfect sense. The television studio is one level up. However, what I don't like about the current television studio is that it does not have built-in frame rate converters. So that means that all cameras need to be exactly the same if it comes to what they are sending towards the ATEM. That's a bummer, especially if you have like a laptop and a camera that's not 100% aligned. Then you are basically having an issue and you need to purchase a scaler for that. My gut feeling is that they will be utilizing what they've learned with the ATEM Mini and combining it with the television studio, because the ATEM Mini Extreme ISO and the television studio are very much alike price-wise. But I would even state that the ATEM Mini Extreme is actually far superior if it comes to the functionality of the products. And then you've got the television studio is then, I would say, prosumer and professional. And then you've got the 1ME, 2ME, and the Constellation, and that's really for professional broadcasters. I do believe that they will be having new switchers out later this year. That's my gut feeling, and it will most likely be released either in NAB or at IBC or both. Okay. You mentioned you use one Hyperdeck for video playing and other one for lower thirds. Can it be done with only one? Yes, you can. Yes, you can. However, you might need to change some settings via macros to make that work perfectly, but that's possible, definitely. Again, my use case is also to play out multiple videos here during the stream, so that I can give you a proper demo. However, I can imagine that you don't want to spend that other money. Again, I do own a Hyperdeck Studio Mini, an older version. I love it. I love it a lot. It's nicely built in a 19-inch rack. It's right there, but I cannot really show it to you because it's like a big. If I look this way, I see a major mobile air conditioning with a big, let's say, aluminum tube to tunnel the cold air to my bedroom, which is right there. And next to that, there's a 19-inch rack, and basically I kind of use that part for now. What I will do once it's mid-September, I will remove the air conditioning. I will put a table there again, and then I will set up not only a table, but I will also use my A10 Mini Pro that I have right here. I will use that for setting up additional cameras so that I can do proper product demos, because at the moment I don't have a lot of space, and that's really because of my living condition at the moment. But that's okay. It's going to be okay. Anty says, maybe there will be a 4K version of the streaming bridge coming soon. Yeah, that might be the case. I will not be surprised. That actually makes perfect sense, Anty. That makes perfect sense. All right. That's all the time that I have for you guys today. I hope that you liked it. It was a bit of an impromptu. I was really, in the morning, I was really like, I need to create this video, but I think that this made more sense. We had a very good discussion. We learned from each other, and that's basically what I want to do. Again, this week, I'm pretty sure that I will have a video on Hyperdeck coming, the new one, the HD Plus that I've purchased. It will be delivered hopefully on Monday, and then either Monday or Tuesday there will be the first video, and then 1 or 2 days later the second video. And of course, next week we can have a lot of discussion on the Hyperdeck. I hope that you guys liked it. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for the likes and all of the cool words. And I hope let's hope that we will get to 1,000 subscribers before the end of the year. That would be great. That would be awesome. Should be possible, but it's always a bit of a, I don't know. I'm very stoked of having you guys in the community. Thank you so much for being here. I hope to see you next week. Same time, same channel. And don't forget, there will be 1 or 2 videos coming throughout the week. Bye-bye.